What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with techbud Solutions. Thank you guys again for joining us for another Sunday Stock Talk. I actually don't know if we're live right now, this OBS. Oh, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I think I captured the entire thing. So I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. My name is Ricky. If you guys don't know who it is that I am, I have a group. It's a small little networking group. It's free for everyone. If you guys want to be a part of it, I believe it's the second link in the description. We have over 53 or 54,000 members within our free Facebook group and group chat. So pretty much what our group consists of is we come together as a networking platform. We mainly focus on investing in the stock market, but we don't limit ourselves just to that. So for our Sunday Stock Talk, as you're joining us today, we go live every Sunday. It's 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. So for those that went through daylight savings, Arizona, I believe, is one of the few states, if only the only state that doesn't go through daylight savings. So right now it's 6:30. I'm not too sure if we're catching you at an hour earlier or an hour later than normal. But basically, with the comments, all the messages that I saw, you guys are having a pretty solid Sunday morning or Sunday altogether. So thank you guys again for taking time out of your day and joining us. For our Sunday Stock Talks, we come together, we talk about the different stocks that we see value in preparation for this upcoming week. All the stocks that we talk about are basically either my what I see value in or what other members within the group see value in, and I simply break it down for them. In no way are these any stocks that you should personally invest in. We have 3 rules within our group, and the first rule is we don't invest in what we don't understand. And again, these rules are kind of created to guide you in the right direction. The second rule is we don't invest based on other people's opinion. There's a lot of manipulation going on, in the market, especially with lower cap stocks, and we want to make sure that you're not, misguided. And then the third thing is you should always have a plan when investing. If you're asking the questions, hey, should I buy here? Should I sell here? Should I cut my losses here? There's obviously no planning or no structure. We want to make sure that you have a plan in preparation for every single position that you choose to take a part of. Because again, an investment should be something that you should at least have some form of risk management involved. And if you can keep your losses much smaller than your profits, then you can take 2 to 3 losses and lock in one green trade. And at the end of the week, you'll still end on a green note. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when investing in the stock market and in multiple markets is they don't invest, they don't understand the market that they're investing in, and they don't understand the risk involved. So if we become knowledgeable investors and we become investors that understand the risk, then we can make, just smarter investments. And it takes the very, small and simple steps such as these that I think can really guide people in the right direction. So I know you guys just want me to start getting right to it. And we'll go ahead and do that. So it looks like there's a couple people already calling different stocks out. And sweet, let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to cover, if it's okay with you, I'm going to cover my 3 top stocks for this week. And I'm going to cover them in different sections. The day trades, you guys do a really good job with that. So I'm going to leave the day trades to you when it comes down to, let me share my screen with you so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So now you guys can somewhat see my screen. Here we go. And I did a poll about 9 hours ago, and you guys selected these to be the top 5, and these are the ones that I'm going to be talking about. And this is AMD, whoa, sorry about that, AMD, UGAZ, DCIX, XXII, and MTBC. So these are the top ones that you guys called out, which is great. So this is our techbud Solutions Facebook group if you guys aren't a part of it already. So you can see it has 52,000 members here, but we have a couple thousand in the Discord chat that are not a part of the actual Facebook group. So just wanted to call that out. And let's actually start breaking this down. I was already doing some technical analysis on a couple stocks that I was seeing value in for this upcoming week. But altogether, I want to make sure that we focus on stocks that we all see value in. And again, please, these stocks that we're talking about are just for exposure. I want to make sure that you guys focus on how I break down stocks, how I see value in them, and less on the actual ticker itself. The ticker is irrelevant if you don't see value in it. Again, you should not invest in what you don't understand, and you should not invest based on other people's opinion. So overall, I'm going to break down 3 of my top swing trades for this upcoming week, the ones that I see value in and that I think are already getting signs of that confirmation, meaning that signs of an uptrend. And then I'm going to cover the day trades that you see value in, as well as I'm going to cover some OTC stocks. So I'm going to focus on day trades, swing trades, and OTC stocks, and then I'm going to cover a little bit of cryptocurrency for like 1 minute, just because it's been such a hot topic. But altogether, let's go ahead and kind of get going. So I think we are all set. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with a couple of these. All right, I agree with a couple of these comments. You guys are talking about DCIX, and that's not one necessarily that I wanted to talk about too much, just because I felt that that was a pump and dump. But because of your recommendation, I'll cover it and I'll give you my, raw point of view on that. So let's go ahead and talk about the ones that I see value. These are my swing trades for this upcoming week. These are the ones that I see value and that have already shown signs of confirmation. So let's go ahead and cover them. I'm going to be looking at a 180-day analysis, and I'll show you why. So this is, this is AMD, UCTT. Okay, so as you guys can see, UCTT is a stock that's already in my watch list. The reason that I see value in this is even if I do a 1-year analysis on UCTT, it's a 3-year analysis, but yes, that's a strong uptrend. It looks like it's showing consistent signs of a solid company. The thing that I really like about UCTT, especially in the 180-day analysis, is that it has really nice pullbacks. And when there's this is how I see it. Again, this is my technique, my style, and 100% this is not something that you have to do. But I see a company that year after year shows signs of a consistent, uptrend, shows signs of growth, right? And we want to make sure that the money that we invest in the market grows. Therefore, it would only make sense to invest in companies that are showing signs of an uptrend. Therefore, some people just love holding and bag holding these low cap stocks that are, driving their prices to zero. Realistically, what I like to focus on, especially with my swing trades, is I like to look at the big picture. I like to get a better, understanding of how this stock is trending. And what I like to do is I like to buy the dips when they confirm the support. And what I mean by that is in this 180-day analysis, we could see that from time to time, UCTT hits somewhat of a resistance and then experiences a little bit of a pullback. In those pullbacks, when it validates that support, so when it breaks above the EMA again, I get that confirmation that it's showing signs of an uptrend. Therefore, that would identify a good buy point, which then I can later sell for a profit when it recovers to the price that it was previously at. Let me give you an example. When UCTT had that drop from about $26, hit the support at $18, I really don't care about where it bounces at. I just care on when I get that confirmation that it recovers. So looking at this 180-day analysis, I can get the understanding that, okay, UCTT, I'm going to wait for the break above EMA. For me, that's an indicator that I use to get a better understanding when it breaks above the EMA on this 180-day analysis, not intraday, but 180-day analysis. When it breaks above my moving average exponential line, which is this blue line that you see here, I have a better understanding that the stock is trending up rather than when it breaks below the EMA line and starts trending down. If you don't know how to read the EMA line, I do have a video on that covers that both on YouTube and in my lesson library. So that's the confirmation that I wait for. So it does this from time to time. It hits a certain resistance, it experiences a pullback, consolidates, and then breaks above EMA and then pushes through that uptrend. It just experienced another pullback and it broke down and bounced. It's still consolidating at that support at around $24. It's at $24.45. That's really irrelevant to me. What I really want to focus on is, yes, it's at support right now, so it's confirming. You know how we say that old resistance levels become new support levels? It's a type of kind of just pattern that I focus on. Again, it's not 100% always correct, but it's just a pattern that we use to validate a good entry point. And with those, being able to identify a good entry point can let you or expose you to a potential good buy, which then you can later sell for a good sell. So realistically, this is why I have all my alerts set here. I have all the alerts set for the stocks that I'm trading this week because me and my lesson library and my mentorship group came together on Friday and we set our alerts together as a team, and it was just very structured. So I'm just, again, going to cover this very quickly. I'm waiting for UCTT to break above the EMA line, which is right around $25 to $26. And until I get that confirmation that it breaks above the EMA line and starts trending up, this stock, I will not take a position on this stock. And the reason why is just because it's not trending up. Yes, it's consolidating right now, and it's validating a previous resistance, which is a new support. So that's good, but I have no confirmation that this stock is trending up. So therefore, all I'm going to wait for is that confirmation. I already have my plan on where I'm buying, where I'm selling, and where I'm going to cut my losses. And just to do the simple math, I don't necessarily plan to sell at $35, which was the previous resistance. I realistically want to sell at around $30, which I think, or it can be anywhere from 29 to 30. So I'll do 29 at the low end. The reason that I'm doing 29 is just because it was a previous resistance. So if I wait for the confirmation when it breaks above $25, and again, wait for the sell at around 29, then that's around 13 to 14% potential for profit. And let's do the math. Let's say that I go in at 25 and I go in with about $5,000. My potential for profit from 25 to $29, if my entire plan is correct. Why is the percentage different this time? My trend line indicator. Again, I'm using the Thinkorswim platform. It's something that you guys all have access to, and I've made a complete breakdown and tutorial on how I have mine set up. So it's actually closer to 16% potential for profit. So with that being said, if I have about $5,000 there, we're looking anywhere around like almost $750 profit. Again, that's not exact math, but and as it continues to increase in price, I will continue to add to my position anywhere at the end, having a grand total of $10,000 to $15,000 invested on UCTT as it's indicating signs of an uptrend, as it continues to break every dollar resistance level. And that's something that I've done in the past. So realistically, my potential for profit is almost 16%. What's my potential for loss? Well, because this is a swing trade and I'm going to go a little bit lighter in the very beginning, again, I'm taking about a $5,000 position, I can cut my losses at about 2 to 3%. Therefore, if I cut my losses at 2 to 3%, I can cut my losses if it breaks below $24. I cut my losses at 3.65%, so that's my potential for loss. So I'll write it down on a piece of paper. Okay, before I take the position of, $5,000 position, 3.65% loss, and I'll write the dollar value. Therefore, before I actually take the position, I know what my actual dollar value at risk is, because right as I get filled, I'm going to put my stop loss, just because that's what I do. Doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. That's personally what I do. And I also know that once I, confirm my position for entry is cleared, then I know my potential for profit is much greater. So therefore, if it's at like that 15 to 16%, it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm going to lock in 15 to 16% exactly. I usually follow with a stop loss. So if I cover at 27 or 28, then so be it. But realistically, before I take the position, I not only want to make sure that I'm getting in at a good price, but that the potential for profit is much greater than that potential for loss. And obviously for me, with looking at UCTT, I feel like the reward/risk is worth taking. Easiest way that I can break it down for you, and I hope that wasn't too confusing. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Boom. It looks like you guys, and I've seen a lot of you, you guys send me your breakdowns and your plans for your stocks, and a lot of you already have that structure in mind. So before you guys actually take a position, you guys sent me your reward/risk ratios. I call them golden ratios, and you guys can come up with your own golden ratio, just because, again, we're all different and we all see value in different ways. And I want to make sure that the way that you trade is something that you specifically see value in and makes sense to you. Just because I see value in something doesn't mean that you're going to as well. The next one that I'm going to be talking about is CENX. The reason that I see value in CENX is we can do a one-year analysis just so it could be a little bit more clear. But we could see that there was a previous support at $14 and overall resistance. It continues to make new highs. This might be a little bit hard to see. I'm actually going to remove my watch list as it's a little bit irrelevant because I'm not going off of that. Let me do a 180-day analysis so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But do you see that the support, that every time it hits this resistance level, this ascending resistance? For those that always ask me, how is it that I know where to draw it? Again, resistance and support levels are all psychological price points that are known to be, where they peak out at or where they sell bounce at. They're no set price where they have to bounce at. So again, it's just kind of like an average for me. Therefore, once I saw these two, build a resistance level, I just drew a line straight through them, and it created a trend, it created a pattern, and it's an ascending uptrend, right? So every time that it goes up, it pulls back almost to the same support, so right around $14. But every time that it pumps up, it continues to increase in price. So therefore, the next time, according to this pattern, it's supposed to go higher than $21. Is that something that I'm going to hope for, or only lock profits on? No, I'm going to follow with a stop loss. But something that always happens when it comes to $14, it takes a while sometimes, but it bounces at $14. There's no question about that. And realistically, from $14 to, let's say, $20 on the low end, 42% potential for profit. Okay, so 42% potential for profit is the potential I see CENX have based on the previous patterns. It has a solid uptrend. It's something that I see valuing. That's great for me. Doesn't mean that you have to. What's my potential for loss? Well, if I buy in anywhere around $14, I can cut losses anything below. I'm not going to cut losses below 13. So I can cut losses depending on where it is that I want to manage my risk. Let's say that I want to, cut my losses at 2 or 3%. Let's say I want to cut losses at 3%. So it's going to be anywhere from, around 1360 to 1350. Therefore, again, I'm going to wait for the confirmation because it has not confirmed. If you see right here, it has not confirmed an uptrend. This EMA line is still trending down. And that's something that a lot of people don't really focus on. Is I want to make sure that even if I have to give up some percentage as it's increasing in price, I want to make sure that when I buy in, the EMA line is pointing up rather than pointing down. And that means I have to be a little bit more patient and make sure that CENX shows that confirmation of an uptrend. So what is it that I have? I have my alert set at $14 and my other alert set at $14.50, because realistically, I think CENX is going to be bouncing at around $14 to $14.50 for maybe a couple days before it actually starts continuing its uptrend. And I know the potential for profit, again, is a lot greater than my potential for loss. All I'm waiting for is that confirmation at that support, and therefore I know based on previous trends that this thing has the potential to increase so much more than it has the potential to decrease, at least with my risk management kind of plan that I have set up for me. It makes sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to you. I simply wanted to expose you to a potential stock that you might see value in, and if you do, great. If you don't, then realistically, you don't trade it, and that's really just it. I plan to actually cover my profits anywhere around $18 plus, just because that's a pretty standard price point where it's covered before. I don't like to be in positions for more than a month to 2 months, especially with these long-term swing trades. So once it breaks above $14 to $14.50, and I get that confirmation that it's breaking above EMA, I'm planning on taking a position anywhere from about $5,000 to $7,000 and see as it continues to increase in price and how it's fluctuating, I can continue adding with $1,000 or $2,000 every dollar price point that it increases, every resistance that it breaks. That's my plan. It doesn't have to be yours. So realistically, that's all I wanted to say for CENX. I have all my alerts set if it goes below 13. This is actually the stock. If you guys saw the video that I filmed with my girlfriend, this is actually the stock that she took a position on. I believe she took a position on, she bought one share. So again, it's not a lot, but she bought one share at 1370 or 1371. I gave her 3 options, which was GNC, ESPR, and CENX, and she liked the value of CENX. She always asked me, how's my aluminum doing? Because it's an aluminum company. So I know it's very elementary the way that I broke it down for her, but I just wanted to make sure that the stock that she invested in is something that she saw value in and that she understood the reward/risk, which is something that I feel like not a lot of people do. Although it sounds very elementary, you would be surprised that I think it's actually more naive for people to be trading based on other people's opinion or what stock is trending. Just because it's trending doesn't mean that it's relevant or it's something that meets your certain criteria. And I think the more that you develop kind of like your own sense of opinion or value towards a stock, the better understanding that you'll have on which stocks are actually worth taking. So the last one that I'm going to be talking about when it comes down to my potential swing trades for this upcoming week is HAWK. The reason it's HAWK is because we already got the confirmation of the uptrend. So this one, again, a solid uptrend. We can go to a 1-year analysis if we really want to, but it's a pretty solid company with the trend that it's showing in the pattern. It had a huge sell-off because of its earning, and it's already showing confirmations of an uptrend on the 180-day analysis. It already broke above the EMA, and we called this one out October, if I'm not mistaken. It was our top stock for October, and it was one of the first stocks that we covered. I had so many people share their profits with me on this stock because I simply talked about it. They broke it down, they shared their plan with me, and they chose to take a position. Again, I'm here just to provide exposure and my thought process. It's you as the investor that decides on what it is that you choose to invest in. And you want to make sure that you truly understand the risk and make sure that you have a plan like before you take a position, right? There's no question that right now it is approaching a resistance at around $36, and that's why I have my alert set there. Once it breaks $36, that was a previous support level, which is going to become most likely a resistance level. So it's kind of hitting the highs that it was hitting, maybe 2 weeks ago with the resistance right around $35.50 to $36. So I'm simply waiting for that confirmation. Once I get the confirmation, now I know not only the EMA is trending up, but it's strong enough to actually break through those resistance levels, which again, from $36 to its previous support of 42 or 43, the potential for profit is about 16%. If you cover your losses at 2 to 3%, again, the potential for profit is much greater than the potential for loss. And if you get in at a good entry point and you go in a little bit lighter, something that I would do is I would go in a little bit lighter with my entry point, and as it confirms the uptrend, I can continue adding to my position if I see value in the stock and its trend. That's some people go a little bit too heavy right away on their initial purchase, and it pulls back a little bit, and they're like, oh no, I really understand the pattern. I know this is a solid company, but then I have to cut my losses at 2%, which I understand, and you should stick to your plan. So instead of, this is a breakdown that I've done before, and I'm sorry, I'm going on a little tangent. There's a guy that had $1,000, and that was investing in a stock, and every time that he would take a position, it would break down 2%, and then it would bounce right away. But because 2% was his max loss, he would cut his losses right away. So then we formulated a plan. I asked him, hey, this is a technique that I've used before. Take 50% of your position, so $500 instead of the $1,000. Make your stop loss the same dollar value, right? It's, instead of it being 2% for $20, it's still 4% for $20. So it's still the same dollar value at risk, but with 50% of the position. So you could risk a little bit more percentage with the same dollar value invested. And that ended up working out for him. He can just average up as it continues to rise, and then at the very end when he sells, he'll be selling with $1,000. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, feel free to direct message me within the TechBud Solutions Discord chat. But let's go ahead and cover some of the stocks that you guys would like me to talk about. So, all right. What's up? Let's go to the penny stocks. All right. So, okay. All right. All right, so we have some people calling out XXII. So it's Taurus. Feel free to share the ticker symbol with that. All right, so I'm going to cover these very quickly, and these are the ones that people are calling out. This one has been called out multiple times, and it's one of the top stocks through the Facebook group, but it's XXII. So I'm going to zoom out all the way, and it looks like it's at a previous support level. And again, it needs some time for consolidation at that $2 support. If it really breaks below $2 and it really starts trending down, then realistically, you just have to ask yourself, is this something worth holding? It was showing signs of a consistent uptrend the last time we followed up with it. When it was at around 250 to 275, it just was experiencing a little bit of a pullback, but it broke below the 250 support level, and it broke below the $2 price point. And that's fine that it broke below $2. Again, the $2 support level is just a psychological price point. It really means nothing, right? It's just a price point where it usually averages at. But realistically, as long as you wait for that indication of an uptrend, so you might want to wait for that EMA line to catch up, and maybe when it breaks above $2.10, that's where I would set my alert. Get notified when it breaks above 210. Be quick with the alerts that you have set up with this specific pick. Let's see. So I'm going to set it at 212. If it goes above 212, then it's showing indications of an uptrend. But I'm also going to see the support that it has here, and that's around 195. I'm going to put mine at 190. So if it goes below 190, then I know that this thing is still most likely trending down, and it's probably not something that I'm going to want to watch very actively. So I'm going to set my alert there, and that is really just it. So I'll set my alert if it goes below it. So I think this is a good pick once we show signs of confirmation. Again, because if we can get in at an entry of 210, then the potential for profit to $3 is huge, 30%, right? Or it's actually greater than that, yeah. Yeah, it should be about 50%, so it's 43%. So the potential for profit is much greater than the potential for loss, but regardless of what the case may be, I just want to make sure that I get that confirmation of that uptrend. So, what are you doing? It's mine. Sure. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and cover the next one. All right, so we have a couple of people calling out JNUG and KERX. Okay, let's cover that real quick. All right. Okay, so KERX, its earnings is tomorrow, so that's something that I would like to wait out for. And I do have a couple other stocks that I was watching, so it's IMGN, FEYE, GNC. Those are stocks that I'm personally watching that have not shown confirmations of an uptrend. It would be something similar to this pharmaceutical company. I know nothing about them. It's KERX. But it's showing signs of a downtrend, but a previous support that it had is 550. If I'm not mistaken, during aftermarket hours, it closed and nearly hit the resistance at $6.50. I personally would not buy in. I mean, its earnings are either aftermarket, before market, and okay, so its earnings is actually we're going to have to follow up with this one anyways. It has an earnings call tomorrow morning, so we'll just have to follow up with it. That's all I can really say. I can't give you really a breakdown other than, look, its previous support was 650. It's acting as a new resistance level, and then the other support is 550. So this is a margin, and this is another margin right here. So if it's a bad earnings, then I can see this thing pulling back to 550, if not sub 550. But if it also has, a decent earnings and guidance, then I can see this thing pushing above 650 up to $8 because that's the previous resistance level. Based on its previous earnings, it had a decent sell-off. Let's see if we can capture another one. The previous earnings, although it had a bad earnings, maybe its guidance was good and it acted as a catalyst and it had a huge rush. So we'll just have to follow up with it. Let me go ahead and cover AMD real quick. This is one that was requested by the group, the Facebook group. So therefore, this is one that I've covered multiple times, and this is one that I said when it was at $10.50 and $11. And I was like, this is AMD, multi-billion-dollar company. It's only a matter of time for this news that acted as a catalyst for this huge sell-off to waver off, right? And then once that news becomes irrelevant, just like we've seen it before when it has huge pushes, regardless of what the catalyst is, either if it's good or it's bad, the news becomes irrelevant, and therefore it starts to consolidate and actually, find its true price. With that being said, on Friday we had an amazing day. We had a bunch of people sending me, all their profits because of their purchase price of sub $11, and they were able to lock in some of the profits. I think AMD has a lot more potential to recover. This one is a swing trade. It's already trending above the 180-day analysis. I'm simply waiting for more of a confirmation of an uptrend. I want to see a number of days of this specific stock to start showing signs of recovery. But I think it's only a matter of time and patience for this thing to actually recover above $12 and $13. I don't think, this isn't the worst or the lowest price point that it's ever been. Realistically, I mean, it's had sell-offs like this before, maybe 2 earnings ago, and it eventually recovers. It just takes time and it takes patience. So before taking a position, just ask yourself, are you in a position where you can hold AMD for it to recover? Basically, based on its previous trend, it shows that it's only time and patience that you really need for this thing to actually recover. So still formulate your plan, still manage your risk. And again, if you see value in it, then it's up to you to take a position. So I think that one is definitely, it's one of these stocks that I'm looking at for this upcoming week for potential day trades. Until it breaks above $12, I don't really feel comfortable swing trading, and that's just my opinion. Again, it's me being a little bit more conservative. So when it comes down to UCAGT is an inverse ETF just like JNUG. It validated that support at $8, and now it broke above the 180-day EMA, which is the blue line that we always wait for. It's approaching the resistance at $9.50. I think it's a great intraday play, meaning that I'm not really swing trading this one. I think it offers great margin, about 3 to 4%. for potential for profit intraday, so all within one day, so day trades, right? And with that being said, I think as long as this thing continues to show signs of an uptrend, if this thing breaks below $9 again, then obviously it's not indicating or showing signs of an uptrend. Therefore, if you choose to take a position and getting at $9 and it goes below $9 and it continues trending down, I mean, it doesn't take a brainiac to understand that that's not an uptrend and it's breaking its trend. It's now trending back down, and it's going to be DGAS, the one that's going to be, excelling. So therefore, it's very quick. I don't understand why some people bag hold these ETFs when there's an inverse one that does the exact opposite. So DGAS goes up when UGAS goes down. So therefore, I think this is a very simple breakdown. If it continues its uptrend, great. Then I can ride the VWAP indicators, and what I mean by that is, just to give you an example on how it played out on Friday. These are simply, I try to buy at the bounce, so wait for the confirmation when it breaks above this purple VWAP indicator. I have a video on that in both, again, my YouTube videos or my lesson library, and then I sell when it hits the top or red VWAP for me, right? The margins are not huge, but it's enough to be able to ride and catch the bottoms and sell the tops if you see value in it and stuff like that, and there's very little risk involved if you wait for the confirmation of that uptrend. So the break above VMA and above, that resistance of the VWAP indicator. And it's just the same with JNUG. JNUG was actually having a huge sell-off on Friday, which identified itself as a good potential day trade, and that's why I called it out. And I called it out at 15. People got in and were able to sell above 15.30, basically when it closed right at the market. Realistically, if you didn't see value in it, then you shouldn't be trading it. But I felt like the potential for profit was much greater than the potential for loss. So let me go ahead and cover. There's two stocks that are OTC stocks. There's a stock that me and Brad were talking about that he saw value in, and there's one that I followed up with last week that I saw value in, and I really just want to break it down for you. I think it offers a good kind of like reward / risk ratio. The first one that I'm going to break down is it's SRMX. So again, this is a true penny stock. This is an OTC stock. So if you don't see value in this one, then you should definitely not invest in these. These are a little bit more risky. This is one that Brad saw value in. He's waiting for some form of catalyst, so I simply wanted to talk about it and let you guys know that Brad is a group leader within our OTC stock group within TechBud Solutions. So if you've ever been interested in getting into OTC stocks, feel free to message him. Again, he has his own group chat within TechBud Solutions. So he's one that's excellent to reach out to when it comes down to getting a better understanding of his approach when investing in OTC stocks. He says he's a bottom feeder, which means that he buys at the very bottom when they can't drop anymore realistically, and then as they start to increase in price, then he averages up, meaning he adds more to his position. So he has a very different approach than I do when it comes down to trading. I would encourage you to reach out to him before you place your first trade when it comes down to investing in the true penny stocks and OTC stocks altogether. And then the last one for OTC stocks is LXGTF. And the reason that I'm talking about this one is, if you guys remember, I followed up with this one last week, and it was the uptrend indication that it was trending up every 5 cents. This week was one of the first times that it did hit somewhat of a resistance. So as it broke, I got the alert when it broke above $45 and I called it out to the team. It did not show signs of a support. It broke right below $25 again and then pulled back all the way down to 40 cents. So realistically, it's back at the margin that it was before. So there's one of two things that I would plan on doing with this one, and they all just factor into becoming day trades. And what I mean by that is, we have the support, right? It was a previous resistance, new support level, and we can see that's how it acted in, both on Thursday and Friday. At $40 was the support. 45 cents was the resistance, but realistically, it would hit highs of about 43 to 44, intraday. So with that being said, the low points being around 40 to 41, and the high points being around 43 to 44, these are all intraday plays. I would set my alerts if you see value in this. And when it comes down to, breaking this one down, if I get in, realistically, let's say at like 41, and I cut losses if it goes below 40 cents, my potential for loss, right? If I put my stop loss at 0.39, my potential for loss is going to be anywhere from about, maybe 2%. So if I go in with $1,000, my potential for loss is $20, as long as I set my stop loss and I get filled at that price. What's my potential for profit? If I get filled at 41 and can sell at 44, my potential for profit is 7.78%. So therefore, my potential for profit is $78 and my potential for loss is 20. You have to ask yourself, is this something worth taking? Is this an investment worth taking? If it is, it's a very simple play. You cut losses if it breaks its support, or you lock in profits once it hits that intraday resistance. And it's very simple. I don't think there's much that needs to come into place when it comes down to talking about this. The stock has been on a consistent uptrend, and that's why I'm simply talking about it. And it's formulating a pattern where it's coming down to its previous support. It might just need a little bit of consolidation. But if this thing breaks below 40 cents, then yes, I would agree that realistically I would not invest in it either, as it's seeing signs of a downtrend. But if it validates the support intraday, just like I'm playing with you guys and just like I'm playing with JAWK, I can see this thing have some form of value intraday, because I know I can buy the low points, sell the high points, and I can cut losses if it breaks the trend. And again, the reward is much greater than the risk for me. That's why it might be worth taking. But realistically, if you don't see value in it, or you don't know how to break it down for a good entry or good exit, then you should simply stay away from it. Again, I don't hold stocks overnight that are less than $1, and it's just not something that I do. So therefore, these are all intraday plays. So it should be very simple and easy for you to cut losses or to lock in profits. So I just thought I'd talk about it. Yeah, so when it comes down to LXGTF, I would, if the trend stays above 40 cents, then I would say that it's relevant. If it breaks below 40 cents, then I would say that this thing is most likely heading on a downtrend. Well saying, hey Ricky, tell your roommate to stop eating that food when we are learning from you, right? That's what I say, but it's all good. Okay. What's up, Deputy Lopez? Thank you again. All right. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to cover this one last one. And you guys know that if you guys are part of TechBud Solutions, I go live 15 minutes before the market opens Monday through Friday. But right after I go live, you guys can join us in the TechBud Solutions Discord voice channels, and that's where we're all at. So if you ever catch me in there, we have Ferris, we have Lupo, we have all these guys that are so talented and very easy to understand and identify patterns. They'll give you their honest opinion on their pick. I just want to make sure if I can ask you for anything, right? We provide you this whole networking platform for TechBud Solutions for free. All I ask you is to not ask where to buy or where to sell. I want to make sure that you understand or have your own opinion before you ask, what do you think about this pick? You should understand where the support is, where the resistance is, where a good buy, where a good sell is. And if you don't, then maybe you should work on that a little bit more before taking a position. I just can't stress that enough. So many people ask me to break down stocks for them where they don't even know if it's a good buy or a good sell. I'm not here to tell anyone where to buy, where to sell. I don't want to guide people in the wrong direction, or we see value in different ways. Just please, if you can, do me the biggest favor, and all I ask you is to do your own due diligence before taking a position. So let's go ahead and cover DCIX, and the reason that I'm saying that is just because this is one that was obviously trending pretty high on Friday, and it's one that I personally don't see value in. I think it's a huge pump and dump, but it's one that was obviously talked about so actively within our chat and in multiple platforms that I think it's at least worth talking about right now. So right now it has a support at around $10, as you can see during pre-market hours. It built that support. So I don't know what acted as a catalyst for DCIX or why it saw a huge pump. If anything, I thought the news that came out for DCIX was bad, but it acted as a huge catalyst, and it led to this huge momentum run. Just to give you an example, it went from it's open at let's just say $4 to highs of 1970. That's 380% growth. So that's actually a lot more. Let's see. Yeah. 380. Yeah, realistically, I think it's on a downtrend. I think if it could break above $12, then we might get a good little push and showing kind of like a little cup trend. It's all intraday. This is not a swing trade. This is all day trades. If it shows any indication of an uptrend, then just identify a good entry point and exit point before you take a position, and make sure that you're managing your risk. These are very quick enter and exit kind of stocks. And if you're not good at that, or if you don't know the mechanics of trading, this is not one that you should be trading whatsoever. The reason that I say that is for all those that bought in and said, oh no, but DCIX has gone up 300%. It could only continue to rise. It's very unfortunate for those that have to ride it all the way down and lose, 20 to 30% of their account within a matter of minutes and never want to day trade again or invest in the stock market because you made the simple mistake that 90% of the market does, and that's investing based on other people's opinion and not investing in what you understand. So if you want to be successful in any market, please understand what you are investing in and please have a plan before taking a position. I can't stress that enough. So I would stay away from DCIX. It does not meet my criteria. I don't like pump and dumps. I don't associate myself with them, and therefore I don't want to be a part of DCIX, right? But I can see why momentum traders, if they can find a quick in and out, would see value in DCIX for a break above $12 or a pullback below 10 if they want to short it. So that's all I really have to say. I've already taken about 30 minutes of your guys' time. So realistically, if you guys want to break down a couple more stocks, for those that are part of the mentorship program, feel free to direct message me in the Learn, Plan, and Profit private group chat. And then for those that are part of TechBud Solutions, feel free to tag me in the main chat room. Right now, I still have a couple direct messages that I have to catch up on. But feel free to tag me if you guys would like to share your plan with me. I'm not going to tell you where to buy or where to sell. Again, that's not something that we do within our group. So I hope that you're okay with that. I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Ferris Bueller. Mr. Ferris, I actually don't know if Bueller is actually his last name, but I met up with him this Saturday, so actually yesterday, and I met up with him in lunch. He's one that's very active within our group, and I just wanted to give him a huge shout out for all the time and effort and in guidance and value that he provides to our group, and he's one that I'm really looking forward to when it comes down to working with in the near future, right? There's so many talented and just respectful people within the TechBud Solutions platform that provide so much value that I'm really looking at new ways on how I can partner up with you in ways that not only benefit TechBuds, but as well as benefit yourself as well. And hopefully, we can work in some projects in the future that can actually not only benefit you in the moment, but as well as in your career. And that's really something that I'm working towards. So thank you again for all your time. If you guys did not see, I ended up selling my McLaren MP412C 2 days ago. So I'm actually picking up a new car tomorrow. I still have the BMW M3. The buyer that ended up wanting to come and pick it up on Wednesday ended up flaking out. So I still have it. That's my daily driver right now. But I'm picking up, I actually just almost said the name. So I'm picking up a new sports car, supercar. It's a foreign car, right? So I'm picking that one up tomorrow, and I'm super excited. The whole purpose of me picking this one up is just like I always do. I drive them around for 3 to 6 months, and then I either sell them for a profit or I break even. Again, it's something that I teach in my mentorship and lesson library, and it's something that a lot of people have been asking me about on how they can get into it. I wanted to ask you, is there anything that I can personally do? Because I'm developing much more structured videos for the people that are part of the lesson library when it comes down to not only investing in the stock market, but as well as in real estate and in the reselling of cars. I just want to make sure that I don't, again, flood the lesson library with so much content of different markets. So I was thinking, would you guys want me to create something solely separate than the lesson library, solely for the buying and reselling of cars, and just have it at a different price that can be a little bit more affordable for those that just want to start flipping cars? Let me know. I'm all open ears. If you want me to keep it all under one program, then I'll go ahead and keep it in my lesson library. Again, that's the first link in the description if you guys want to be part of the mentorship program and the lesson library. November and October both sold out. We're now taking positions for the mentorship group for the month of December. So if you want to reserve your spot, I believe maybe we have 1 or 2 weeks left before those end up filling out. But I want to thank you guys again for everything that you guys do. Just continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives in your success. And like always, guys, I mean, you guys are trying to guess my car. So I'll tell you this. I won't tell you what stock I'm currently buying right now. But realistically, I want to do this. For all those that are in New Mexico, that's where I'm going to be. So for all those that are in New Mexico, that's where I'm picking up the car. So feel free to direct message me in the TechBud Solutions Discord chat. Direct message me. And if you can direct message me, I'll cover all the messages in the morning. I'm not flying out until 2 p.m. tomorrow, or I don't land until 2 p.m. tomorrow to actually pick up the car. It would be the biggest blessing to meet you guys, if possible, for those that are in New Mexico. I can send you guys my location when it comes down to like where I'm going to be buying the car, and maybe we can meet up and I can take you for a spin. I would not be in this position. I mean, I've had supercars before I started TechBuds and stuff like that. I mean, I had my GTR. I guess it's not a supercar, but realistically, I would not be doing this so actively if it weren't for all your support. So I want to kind of just give you guys a taste of what can happen by working hard and by just following your dreams. Again, realistically, like, and I want to make sure that you guys understand this lesson library, which is kind of my course, right, and my mentorship. You can learn everything that you need to learn about the market on YouTube, and I have over 550 videos on YouTube, and I'm sure you can not only learn it from my YouTube videos that I have out there that are free, but there's so much content out there that I'm sure you can learn. I simply get straight to the point in this lesson library. I save you time and I save you mistakes and money just because of all the mistakes that I've made before. And I put it in this really nice structured format that's less than 6 hours. And for those that have seen value in it, they've been able to benefit from it. And great. For those that don't, again, I have all these resources out there for you that are for free, and the internet's, just a tool that you can utilize to be successful. The same with buying and reselling cars and everything that I do. Don't feel forced that you're, that you have to purchase these. I just want to make sure that I provide an avenue for those that are willing to dedicate a little bit more time and take it a little bit more serious. I want to make sure that because I'm actually investing, hours of my day and working with these people on a one-on-one basis to make sure that they understand the market of, buying and selling stocks, when it comes down to investing in real estate, when it comes down to flipping their first car. And I want to make sure that we filter and overcome every single mistake so they don't have to make it, just because I've already experienced so many of them. And that's my goal. For those that see value in it, great. I would love to have you as a part of my group. For those that want it all for free, I have my free Facebook group. We have over 53,000 members within our group, and it's all for free. So again, I just want to make sure that we provide exposure for the masses and that you guys know that it's accessible. The only reason that there's like the lesson library and the mentorship is a charge for that is because I invest, hours of my day to this group on a one-on-one basis. So obviously, there's more commitment there rather than just uploading a video and letting it do its thing. So realistically, guys, I want to make sure that for those that are in New Mexico, that I can give you a taste of a form of success that you can experience. And I hope that each and every single one of you can one day have. Thank you guys again. If you guys can like the video, it gives me a better understanding that you like these Sunday stock talks. I am going to be doing my top 5 stocks for November, I believe tomorrow, and I should have that pre-edited and uploaded by 5:30 Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. But join us pre-market hours, so 30 minutes before the market opens, 15 minutes before the market opens in tomorrow's live stream. I want to thank you guys for all your time and all your effort and everything it is that you guys do for not only my group, but for yourself as well. I hope that you guys have a plan set up on what it is that you want to achieve and how it is that you're going to get there. And I wish you guys all the best. But again, it doesn't come down to hope and wishing. It comes down to a lot of hard work to work towards that. So like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives in your success. And like always,